Hello, this is Brian Hook, the hypnotist, the mind-morphing expert, and fire eater. And you know the greatest thing about eating fire? It burns calories. Woo, that's hot. Anyways, I'm Brian Hook, and I'm here to talk today about mind-morphing techniques. And when you have your next conference, convention, large meeting, and you want something exciting, something fun, besides having somebody up there just talking, I make it interactive. How? I hypnotize people in your group so that it's interactive. You learn about the mind and you learn mind morphing techniques and you have a blast. In fact, your company will probably book me year after year after year because if they see that your goals using the mind morphing techniques where you change the image in your mind to achieving more success, guess what? They'll hire you back again and we'll go through it. I'll make it different each time just to make it unique, fun, and especially, we make it fun. Anyways, so what is mind morphing techniques? Well, that's my fancy word for saying I'm going to teach you how to hypnotize yourself because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And to begin with, just so you have a basic idea of hypnosis, you have two minds. You have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the critical factor in which you use to deal with other individuals each and every day. However, you have a subconscious that's non-analytical, doesn't make judgment, doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. So for an example, if you've ever fallen asleep and woke up from a nightmare, your heart's beating fast, you're sweating profusely, and you think, wow, that was real. Well, that was your subconscious mind because it doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. So when I come to your conference, and if it happens to be for sales or relaxation, whatever the goal is at the convention, the conference, the large meeting, because I can tailor it to whatever your needs are. What I teach are these techniques. I call them mind morphing techniques where you change the image in your mind, you change your reality. And it's pretty simple. In fact, I can teach you a very simple technique here and now, but just as a disclosure, don't do any of this when you're operating machinery, behind operating a car. You want to do it when you are going to bed. And that's the best, simplest, easiest way to do these mind morphing self-hypnosis techniques on yourself, whatever your goal is. So how do we do this? And how does this relate to when I come to a conference? Well, what you're doing is you're changing the images in your mind to what you want to have as the goal or what you want to be doing, whatever your goal is. So for example, let's say if you're in sales and you make $50,000 a year, that's what you've always made. That's what you can't break that vicious cycle and reach higher levels. So as a simple example of a mind morphing technique, instead of you making $50,000 a year, for an example, maybe you want to make $100,000 a year. Whatever your goal is. Maybe you make $100,000, you want to make $200,000. The goal is up to you. But it's pretty simple to implement these when you go to bed at night. It's simple, it's easy, and why not do something that's simple and easy? That's what I always say. Anyways, so what you do is when you go to bed at night, whatever your goal, dream, or desire is, as you go to bed and you're lying in your bed, you're going to focus on a spot on the ceiling or the wall. You're going to take in 2, 3, 4 deep breaths. And each time you exhale, feel yourself sinking into your bed as you completely, physically, on purposely relax your body. So you're going to do this 2 or 3 times, then you're going to close your eyelids down, but you'll continue this deep breathing process. Now, this is where we are going to implement the seeds of success or the images you wish to create in your mind to live the life that you want, whatever it is. Maybe you want to drive a particular vehicle. Maybe you have a weight loss goal. Maybe you just want to be stress-free, because we all get stressed. Even a hypnotist gets stressed, but not very often for me because I'm a hypnotist. Anyways, so you're lying there, you've taken 2 or 3 deep breaths, and finally, as you exhale and you've sunk back into the bed, you close your eyelids down. Now, the next part of this is pretty simple. You're going to create a simple movie in your mind, your imagination, but you're going to make it like a loop where it keeps doing the same thing. So, for example, let's say you had a weight loss goal. You weigh a certain weight, but you want to weigh a different weight. Maybe, as a simple example, as your eyes are closed, you see yourself walking over to the weight scale and actually physically assuming you're at that new weight. Just simple, easy, effective. Your mind, your subconscious mind now is gonna start believing that to become a reality. You do this every night as you go to sleep. Now, you keep that loop going. So see yourself stepping onto the scale, you see it, you assume you're already at that weight, and then you loop it again. You do this until you fall asleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, refreshed because you finally let yourself relax. That's where the magic happens. When you're creating that loop, what you're doing is you're implementing that image, those seeds of success, that goal, whatever it is. That is what you're doing. So by the time you actually fall asleep, it marinates in your subconscious mind all night, just marinating like a nice, ribeye steak. You're doing the same thing, but you want that image that you've already assumed achieving that goal, so that the subconscious mind picks it up and makes it a reality. And you'll unconsciously start doing more things. And when I say more things, let's say for that example, maybe when you're going to the store, instead of pulling up close, you're pulling further away from the building, so you walk a little bit more. You're implementing more, steps, walking. Maybe if you do work out at the gym, maybe you're putting a little more time in. Whatever it is, unconsciously, your subconscious will push you a little bit more, and you won't even realize it. And that's it in a nutshell. Go to bed, take 2 or 3 deep breaths, close your eyes, loop that image that you want to see as a reality, because you're already assuming you achieved it. Not that you're working towards it, you've already achieved it. You assume that you have achieved. And fall asleep, you let that image marinate in your mind. As you sleep, your subconscious will work on making it a reality. So if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and if you have a conference, a convention, a large meeting, and you want me to come and teach you mind-morphing techniques, you're going to have a great time, because either yourself or some of your colleagues will become hypnotized and will have a blast. You won't be clucking chickens, but I teach you how changing the image in your mind's eye becomes a reality. Until then, my name is Brian Hook, hypnotist, mind-morphing expert, and fire eater. We'll see you soon.